very dejected, as you'd expect, but he did feel, as you guys did, that they played well in the first half, certainly after the first 5 minutes conceding that first goal. How do you then explain what happened in the second half when it felt like the momentum was with them to go on and win the game?
I think it's very difficult to explain because the capitulation in the second half was so noticeable. It was as if they just, once the second goal went in, they just couldn't recover. They couldn't get back in shape, and they looked more and more open. You see, Perisic had a shot just after the second goal where he volleys it into the ground. It could have been worse earlier. So they need to have this mentality that when they are struggling a little bit, that they get back, they get into a shape, and for the first 10-15 minutes, they're difficult to play through. I thought they were very easy to play through today. I thought they were slow from the goalkeeper out. I thought they allowed PSV to close them down at times instead of going longer a couple of times. I just thought they made it a lot easier for them. Sometimes you have to go against your principles and turn the opposition round and get further up the field. But I just thought they were too open at times in the second half, and they started gambling far earlier than they probably should have.
The Frankfurt game is the only game where they've gone behind and actually gone on to win it this season. Why do you think that resilience isn't there, or the ability to kind of respond to setbacks in games?
I think confidence is an issue at the moment. They had a real big moment, 2-1 down with the Gakpo header. And I think if you score that at the Kop end, changes confidence, belief, momentum within the game. Favour at the moment. And then when they're giving balls away or in transition, because they're gambling and taking a lot of risk with personnel and putting bodies ahead of the ball,
and no one had envisaged, Stephen.
Everybody, good to have you with us. It was, of course, a good night for our two Arsenal fans here at the desk. Not such a good night for the third man at the table. Good, Micah, yeah. Liverpool fan Jamie had a rough night. It's been overall kind of a disastrous run for Liverpool, right? This looked like a game coming into it that could potentially give them some respite. Hasn't gone that way at all, Jamie.
No, I mean, I just felt PSV at home. It's the type of team, we were always in the Champions League. I used to play against them, obviously, numerous times. It was almost like a gimme. You beat PSV at home 2-0 in the Champions League. You don't have to break sweat, and you go on from there. So to lose to Nottingham Forest a few days ago and to lose to PSV now, it's not just losing, it's the manner of the defeat as well. Didn't look like scoring either. You know, it's just, it's pretty bad. Are we going to go to the goals here? Or am I talking about Liverpool? Let's just do the goals, because I end up talking about something over goals. Best lines in vision. Let's go through the goals. Liverpool's not a sacking club. I say Liverpool, I think, are different from almost every club in European football, where if the manager is the king, you know, the managers get time. Liverpool have never sacked a manager who's won the league. Never in the history. They've all, you know, after a few years, they've gone, they've resigned. I couldn't believe at the weekend that people were talking about the manager's job. When I spoke to Liverpool supporters after losing at home to Nottingham Forest. It's only going to amplify now. And I've always been in the camp of you stick with the manager, because I'm angry with the players, if I'm being totally honest. I'm really angry with the players. But it does get to a stage with any manager at any club where I always use this word, untenable, where it almost feels like it can't go on any longer. I'm not quite there yet personally in terms of the manager, but I know a lot of supporters will be. But I've had a lot of time to think about it, because I knew the game was over well before the final whistle. I think what you see now is Liverpool in 2018 under Klopp starts this sort of journey being a great team, and then Slot comes in. And we're now, 7 or 8 years later. The catalyst for Liverpool at the very start of that run was Alisson, Van Dijk and Salah. Alisson's injured a lot now, so he doesn't play so much. But you're watching Van Dijk now, not the same player. And Mo Salah looks like his legs have gone. I don't like criticising them, and I think some of the criticism of them this season as players has been harsh. You always look for your leaders in your team to step up when things are not going well. Now, I've been critical of Mo Salah off the pitch. I want him to come out and do an interview tonight and speak to the Liverpool supporters about what the players are going to do, what's going on in the dressing room, giving the supporters hope that things are going to improve. But I don't like criticising on the pitch, because they're absolutely legendary what they've done, and the legs have just gone, especially with Salah. Van Dijk now can't help other players. He needs help himself. And that just means that he's a normal centre-back. like I was at one stage. So maybe he's not superhuman right now. But they've been that good for the football club. I look at some of the others. Step up. Can you only play well when they play well? Or they carry you? Their seasons last season were off the scale, and everybody else enjoyed that win in the league, and they're all league champions. They've got it on the CV, and great. But when they're not there, where are they? Where are the others? Where are the other players? So that's why I get angry talk about the manager. But it's inevitable, and something could happen. But in terms of the players and the way they're performing now, that is, I mean, not acceptable for Liverpool Football Club. And I actually think, and maybe I thought this a little bit last season, are some of them good enough for Liverpool if Liverpool want to win the biggest trophies? We saw them at Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. We saw them against PSG away from home last season. I mean, woeful performances. And they've been carried by some of the greatest players the club have ever had. This is maybe a snapshot of the future of Liverpool when Mo Salah moves on, Virgil van Dijk moves on, and Alisson moves on.
As far as we know, Mohamed Salah hasn't